Do you know what the hard truth is, which no one likes to hear? You're spending your life on things that aren't worth a penny of your peace. You worry about what others think, you stress about problems that aren't even yours, and you still lose nights of sleep mulling over situations that you don't control. And the worst? Meanwhile, his life, the one that is unique and has no replay, is passing by. But calm down. You don't have to live in this endless cycle of frustration. There is a way for you to regain control of your mind, protect your energy, and finally focus on what really matters you. And this path has a name: Stoicism. No, it is not turning into a stone without feelings. It's learning to be smart with your emotions and selective with your attention. If you feel like you're always reacting to others, seeking approval, or living in automatic mode, this video is for you. Here, you will discover how to apply practical lessons from Stoicism in your daily life, without having to become a Greek philosopher for that. Let's get straight to the point, with simple examples and attitudes that you can start today. Now answer me: are you willing to stop being held hostage by other people's opinions and take the lead in your life? So stay with me, because the journey starts now. And in the end, you'll look back and thank yourself for getting started. Have you noticed how we spend energy trying to solve problems that, honestly, shouldn't even be ours? That coworker who keeps complaining, that relative who loves to pour drama into your lap, or even the news that only serves to make you anxious. Stoicism teaches a simple but powerful truth: focus on what you can control. And spoiler, it comes down to one thing: your own actions and choices. The reality is that every time you get involved in useless arguments or try to fix the lives of those who don't want to be helped, you're stealing energy from yourself. And this energy could be used to improve your health, your projects, your peace. Stoicism doesn't tell you to be cold as a stone, but it asks you to be selective. Before you stress, ask yourself, do I control this? Yes or no? But if the answer is no, drop that anchor. Want a simple exercise? Take a piece of paper and write 2 columns: what I control and what I don't control. Be brutally honest that it's going to be a shock to see how much time you spend on the wrong side of the sheet. And starting today, make a pact: don't waste your energy on what's out of your reach. It seems little, but that changes everything. Another essential point is to identify toxic people. You don't have to cut ties radically, but setting clear boundaries is a matter of emotional survival. Imagine your energy as your cell phone battery. If you leave 1,000 apps running at the same time, you'll be in the red in no time. Learning to say no in a quiet way is a Stoic superpower. At the end of the day, the big lesson is: be the guardian of your attention. Every time you choose to ignore a tease, avoid a problem that isn't yours, or simply not react to something unimportant, you're training your self-mastery. And the more you train, the more self-possessed you become. Ready to learn how to shield your mind against the opinions of others? That's what we're going to see now. How many times have you stopped doing something for fear of what others would think? The clothes he wanted to wear, the opinion he swallowed, the project that didn't get off the ground. The truth is simple: the opinion of others only has the weight that you give. Stoicism teaches that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. And while you're always trying to please everyone, who takes care of pleasing you? Here's a truth that hurts but liberates: people are more concerned about themselves than they are about you. Do you know that absurd concern of being judged? In fact, everyone is trapped in their own little world. And even if they do, it doesn't change your life at all. Marcus Aurelius once said, the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts, not on what they say about you. Do you want to break free? Start small. Where that piece you like, even if they say it's different. Give your honest opinion without asking permission to exist. Take actions in line with your values, without expecting applause or likes. Each of these small rebellions is a step towards your true freedom. At first it gives me butterflies in the stomach, then it becomes a habit. Another powerful practice is to practice the so what. Did anyone criticize? So what? Did you find it strange? So what? Don't like it? So what? This simple question nips The fear of judgment in the bud. The more you practice, the less hostage you become to social approval. And when you stop asking permission to be who you are, life will be much lighter. And hey race, one last reminder, the only opinion that should matter is yours. Because at the end of the day, you are the one who will deal with the consequences of your choices, not others. Want to know what really takes you off track? Let's talk about it now. What irritates you, controls you. Preparation. Now tell me. How many times have you lost your mind because of someone who didn't deserve even 5 minutes of your attention? What irritates you, dominates you. Each time you react on impulse, you are handing over one piece of your control to another. It is as if to say, take the remote control of my emotions here, change the channel whenever you want. And that, my friend, is not at all Stoic. The key here is simple: create a space between what happens and your reaction. Does someone provoke you? Breathe. Really? 3 deep breaths already change your mental state. Imagine that you have an invisible shield. Everything hits and falls to the ground before it hits you. This visualization is a Stoic technique that really works, especially in toxic environments. Another powerful trick is strategic indifference. It's not being apathetic, it's choosing where it's worth spending energy. Do you know that poisonous comment? Respond with a cryptic smile and move on. It seems difficult at first, but with practice you will see how liberating it is not to react. In fact, few things irritate a provocateur more than his unwavering calm. If you really want to master this art, start with small situations. Traffic, cues, small day-to-day discussions. These are your training grounds. Each time you decide not to react, you're getting stronger. And believe me, controlling your emotions is not repressing. It is redirecting your energy to something that is really worthwhile. And to close, record this: whoever can make you mad has power over you. Stoicism does not propose to become a statue without feelings, but to be the master of your reactions. Now that you understand this, it's time to cut another villain from your energy: the habit of complaining. We'll talk about that in the next topic. It'll tell you a truth that may bother you. Complaining doesn't solve anything. In practice, it's just a sophisticated way to waste energy. Every time you complain, you reinforce the role of victim, sink into negativity, and even contaminate the environment around you. And the worst, nothing changes. Stoicism teaches that, instead of spending time murmuring, we should act where we have control and accept what cannot be changed. Want to test how addicted you are to complaining? Do the 24H challenge without complaining. This includes those little complaints disguised as I'm just commenting. Anything goes from bad weather to traffic, even gossip from work. At first, you will be surprised at the number of times you complain on automatic. But believe me, this awareness is already a giant step. Complaining is like sitting in a rocking chair. You move all the time, but you don't move from your seat. If something bothers you and you can take action, there is. If you can't, accept it. Sounds too simple, perhaps. But that's where the strength of Stoicism lies, in the obvious solutions that no one practices. And when you exchange the complaint for action, you start to see real results. Another golden tip: observe the people around you. Toxic environments feed the habit of complaining. If you live with someone who only knows how to see the bad side of things, this energy pulls you down without you realizing it. Be aware. Sometimes, protecting your mind means walking away from certain conversations, or at the very least, not engaging at all. And hey race, the final challenge: the next time you complain, stop and think, what can I do to solve this now? Even if the answer is nothing, just the fact of questioning yourself already takes you out of the role of victim and puts you in the role of protagonist. And speaking of protagonism, it's time to face an even more challenging topic: being brutally honest with yourself. Let's do it. No more going around if your life is not as you would like. It is not the fault of the government, the boss, the family, or the alignment of the planets. It's yours. And this is not to demotivate you, on the contrary. It's liberating to know that the responsibility is yours, because it means you have the power to change. Stoicism hits this key a lot. Stop telling yourself stories and face reality head-on. Want a practical example? Take that classic excuse: I don't have time to take care of myself. Now reframe it into a statement of responsibility. I choose not to prioritize my well-being. Hurts. Clear. But it's this little pain of the truth that makes you get out of inertia. Every time you catch yourself making an excuse, turn it into a responsibility phrase. It's going to be uncomfortable, but incredibly effective. Being brutally honest does not mean beating yourself up, but facing things as they are. That friendship you maintain for convenience. That job you hate, but don't move to change. Everything is under your responsibility. And don't confuse responsibility with guilt. One is weight, the other is power. Stoicism teaches you to focus on what you can do from now on. Practice looking in the mirror and asking direct questions. What am I avoiding facing? What lies am I telling myself? Don't shy away from these answers. It's in these heartfelt conversations that you begin to unlock your potential. And yes, being honest with yourself is a habit. The more you practice, the more natural it gets. And if you're ready to face the truth, then you're ready to face one of the biggest blocks, the fear of failure. In the next topic, we'll unravel how this fear holds you back and, more importantly, how Stoicism teaches you to turn failure into fuel. Do you know what really paralyzes people? It's not a lack of talent, nor of opportunity. It is the fear of making mistakes. But it'll tell you a secret: making mistakes is part of the process. Failure is not your enemy, it is your teacher. Stoicism teaches that failure is inevitable, but suffering from it is optional. Every mistake carries a valuable lesson, as long as you're willing to learn. The best way to overcome the fear of failure is to take action. Excessive thinking is a saboteur disguised as prudence. The more you think, the more you put it off. So, swap infinite analysis for small practical steps. Want to start a project? Take the first step, even if imperfect. Want to change your habit? Start today, with what you have. Action is the antidote to fear. And more, understand that momentary failure does not define you. It's just one chapter, not the whole book. Great names in history, from Thomas Edison to Steve Jobs, failed countless times before getting it right. The difference is that they did not let themselves be discouraged. Each fall was one more step on the ladder of evolution. And with you, it will be no different. To train this mindset, practice controlled failure. Choose small situations where making mistakes does not have major consequences and expose yourself. It could be a new skill, a difficult conversation, or even a physical challenge. The important thing is to get used to the feeling of making mistakes and realize that, in the end, it is not the end of the world. And remember, not acting out of fear of failure is already a failure in itself. Stoicism reminds us that life is too short to be wasted in paralysis. And if you really want to achieve your best version, you will need to learn to make mistakes better. Speaking of strategy, did you know that silence is one of the most powerful weapons for those seeking self-control? That's what we're going to talk about now. There are people who think they need to have an answer for everything, all the time. But the real power is often in silence. Talking too much weakens your position, leaves you vulnerable, and worse, often reveals insecurities that should be worked on quietly, not exposed. Stoicism teaches you to use silence as a form of self-control, not omission. Want to see it in practice? The next time someone teases you, pause before responding. 3 seconds of silence can be more impactful than any cross response. It is in this interval that you regain control of the situation and of your mind. Most fights start because someone didn't know how to shut up at the right time. Another important point: stop explaining yourself too much. When you justify each step, you convey insecurity and make room for unnecessary judgments. Not everything needs to be explained. Actions speak louder than words. Answer the essentials, and then let the silence work for you. Those who master this art command the interactions without having to raise their voice. Silence is also a shield against manipulation. Controlling people hate the emptiness of an ungiven response. When you don't take the bait, the game changes. It's like a game of chess. Sometimes the best move is not to move any pieces and let the opponent get lost in their own moves. And to close, practice active Listening. Instead of thinking about the next response while the other person speaks, simply listen. This exercise not only improves your relationships, but also makes you more strategic. Well-used silence is like a safe. It stores your energy, protects your peace, and amplifies the impact of your words when you decide to speak. And now, let's talk about a very important limit. Don't confuse empathy with submission. There's a fine line between being a good person and being a carpet. Unfortunately, many people confuse empathy with submission. You think that to be polite you need to accept everything quietly, say yes so as not to hurt, carry weight that is not even yours. But Stoicism teaches just the opposite. Having empathy does not mean annulling your own limits. Respecting the other starts by respecting yourself first. Let's make one thing clear: saying no doesn't make you a bad person. Quite the opposite. It is a sign of emotional maturity. When you accept everything, for fear of displeasing you, you are only postponing a conflict that sooner or later will explode. Saying no firmly and respectfully is one of the purest forms of honesty. To start practicing, do the no guilt exercise. Simple situation: someone asks you for a favor that will overwhelm you. Instead of making excuses or saying you'll see, answer directly, this time, I won't make it. You don't need to explain too much. Be kind but direct. Believe me, the freedom it brings is addictive. Setting boundaries is like putting fences in your garden. It's not to drive everyone away, but to protect what's yours. And make no mistake, those who are offended by their limits probably benefited from their lack of them. Stoicism teaches us to be firm with empathy, to balance the heart with reason. It's not about being cold, but about being fair, including with yourself. Remember, you weren't put here to please everyone. Your mission is to be authentic, live your values, and protect your energy. And when you learn how to do this, you discover a powerful secret: the only real competition is against who you were yesterday. And it is about this internal battle that we will talk next. Comparison with others is one of the greatest traps of the mind. We look at the life of the neighbor, the colleague, the influencer, and we start to feel left behind, insufficient, small. But Stoicism teaches a fundamental lesson: the only person you should compare yourself to is yourself, in your own trajectory. Compete with who you were yesterday, and the rest becomes noise. Think of it this way: each person has a different starting point, unique challenges, and their own pace. Comparing your journey to someone else's is like running a marathon looking away. You stumble on your own path. The focus should be on your personal progress, on the small daily victories that, added together, generate great transformations. A simple and powerful practice is the daily check-in. At the end of each day, ask yourself, was I a little better today than yesterday? It doesn't have to be a revolution, just one more step. Whether it's waking up 10 minutes earlier, reacting more calmly, or saying no when it was easier to give in. This mentality of continuous evolution is what separates the strong from those who live stagnant. Another important point: define your own concept of success. What really matters to you: to have peace, grow professionally, be more present with the family. When you clarify your personal goals, you stop living up to the expectations of others. And so, every small achievement becomes a celebration, not a comparison. Finally, record this: you don't need to be the best in the world, you just need to be better than you were yesterday. The real competition is silent, daily, and internal. And the more you focus on this personal growth, the more authentic and free your life becomes. And now that you have the Stoic tools for this journey, let's move towards the completion of this process. Now that you've come this far, answer me sincerely: how many moments of your life have you wasted caring about what you don't control? How many times have you been a hostage to the opinion of others, a prisoner of the fear of making mistakes, or a slave to your own complaints? The good news is that you don't have to continue in this cycle. Starting today, you have a Stoic chart in your hands to regain control of your mind, your emotions, and, above all, your life. But knowledge alone doesn't change anything. The transformation begins when you decide to apply. So, reflect: which of these lessons will you put into practice today? Are you going to start shielding yourself against toxic people, cutting the complaints, or to say no with more confidence? Don't try to change everything at once. Pick a spot and start small. The important thing is to act. Stoicism is not a pretty theory for you to admire from afar. It's a practical philosophy, which only works when you put it into motion. And every step you take in that direction will make you a stronger, more centered, freer version of yourself. At the end of the day, that's what matters: owning your mind and living authentically. If this content made sense to you, leave the like, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. Here, we will continue together on this journey of personal evolution, without romanticizing and without fluff. And remember, life is too short to be wasted pleasing others. Focus on yourself. I'll see you in the next video.